with the third lecture of basic networking. It is related with the logical network designs. So what we have discussed in last lecture, that was about the physical layouts of a network. So now we are going to discuss the logical layouts of network, that is the client server and the workgroup architecture. We'll see what is the difference between them and what are the advantages and disadvantages in both types of layouts. Now, logical layouts of a network. First of all, we'll try to understand the logical layouts of network. As we have discussed the physical layout, those were about the topologies, bus, star and ring. Those were related to the physical things only. Now this is about the logical things. You can design a workgroup network or a client server network. You can design workgroup network in a bus topology, star or a ring. Or you can as well as design client server network, client server logical layout in bus topology, star or ring topology. Please do not confuse in these things. That it is not, they are not concerned with each other. No one should think about it that we cannot make a workgroup or a peer-to-peer network in a star topology. It is not like this. You can create any type of logical layouts in any type of physical topology or physical layout. Now it's clear now. The logical layouts of a network. The logical layouts of a network is closely related with the role of computers in a network. How computers will act in a network. Whether they are all acting like a members of a network only, or one of them will act like a supervisor in a network. There are two major logical layouts. One is workgroup layout or the peer-to-peer networking, and the second one is client-server networking. Now one by one we will discuss the both type of logical layouts in detail. First of all, the workgroup model. In a workgroup model, equal level of resource sharing exists. What does it mean? It means that every computer in a network is responsible for its own sharing or for his own resource sharing. He is not dependent on any other computer. Any computer is not responsible for the resource sharing of other computer or the resource sharing or the activities of the networks. Every computer in a workgroup architecture will solely related with his own resource management. In a workgroup topology, the network administrator have to configure every computer individually and every computer's resource sharing individually. So it's a bit difficult task to manage a big workgroup. This is why most of the service providers or operating system providers recommends that whenever your network will grow above than 10 computers, you should avoid workgroup model. Whenever your network will grow above 10 computers, you should avoid. This is not the thing that I am saying you should not do like this. We are saying you should avoid workgroup networking. You can create a workgroup of 100 computers as well, but the management become very difficult. It will be a horrible mess in a workgroup network. An administrator becomes absolutely out of his mind while managing a very large workgroup, because he have to go to every computer individually for the resource sharing, for the user management, for his performance management. In a workgroup network, no computer have right to assign the access rights in any other computers on the network. Every computer is managing himself. Now there is no centralized management. Response of data sharing is dependent on every individual computer. It must be a small scale in size. Recommendation of PCs, I have told you before, most of the service providers and OS service providers tell you that try to adjust only 10 computers in our group. Whenever it grows above than 10, you should go for the client server model. Famous client server workgroup operating systems are Microsoft Windows XP, Microsoft Windows Vista, and Windows 7. I think everyone know about the names of these operating systems. You can create 2 or 10 or 20 computers workgroup network using all three flavors of Windows XP, Vista or 7. They supports workgroup networking. Now the workgroup networking should be clear here. वर्कग्रुप नेटवर्किंग में इक्वल लेवल ऑफ रिसोर्स शेयरिंग होती है. कोई कंप्यूटर भी दूसरे कंप्यूटर को मैनेज नहीं करता. हर कंप्यूटर अपनी मैनेजमेंट का और रिसोर्स शेयरिंग का खुद रिस्पॉन्सिबल होता है. ये एक स्मॉल स्केल नेटवर्क होता है और हमें कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि 10 से ज्यादा कंप्यूटर एक वर्क ग्रुप में हम एडजस्ट ना करें. नाउ कम टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. व्हेन योर नेटवर्क ग्रोज अप, whenever your network will grow up, suppose you have 50 computers on a network. Now what network administrator will do in whole day? He will go on every single computer to manage the resources. If he have to manage 50 computers and in an office where 3 shifts of working hours are existing and every computer have 3 users, it means a network administrator have to manage 150 users daily. It will be a horrible job for him. Now we have a new model, an enhanced form of model that have centralized management of network resources logically. In this client server model, logically the network is centralized. Whenever you have a large number of computers, you will make a computer system as a server and all other computers will act like a client. Server computer will responsible for centralized management. He should have the control over the network resources. He have to manage the users. He have to manage the resource sharing. Without permission of the server computer system, no client computers, no client and no user can enter in the network. Server apply some policies. Server define policies, apply policies on the network users. Whenever any user login into the computer system, server will authenticate that user and server define a role, a policy, a model, a policy snapshot, how much access of resources, how much access to the resources this user can have. So a client server model, you can manage all computers from a centralized space. Now the client server model becomes very automated. Now you can install applications from the client, from the server. You can assign IPs from the server. You can manage internet sharing from the server. You can manage FTP servers from the server. There are a number of things in server roles now. The famous server operating systems are of Microsoft family: Windows 2000 server, 2003 and 2008 and 2008 R2 servers. These are all three are server-based operating system. There are all many other versions of or flavors of servers also existing in market, just like Sun Solaris, Unix operating system, Linux operating system. They have flavors of client and server models as well, and they are also very strong operating systems. So we are talking about server model, client server model. In a client server model, every computer acts like a client and one computer is the manager of network. He is called the server. He will be responsible for resource sharing, data sharing and management. So this is the basic difference in client server model and workgroup model. In workgroup model, every computer have his own resource sharing, control on his own resource sharing. While in client server model, server is responsible for resource sharing and management. Next, famous client server if we'll talk about the famous servers, there are number of servers just like a file server. It is responsible for the file management in the network. Print server, you have a 200 computers network. Where I am working now, here we have more than 1300 computers in our network, but there are only 3 heavy duty printers are installed with the one computer system, that is called a print server. every computer, every 1300 computer send printing job to that print server, and print server will responsible to print the every job in with the specific time and and as policies are decided. The proxy server is a server that is used to share the internet, same as the web server for the web, FTP for the file sharing, chat server for the chatting, and mail server for the emails. There are number of servers exist currently in our market. Client server hardware and operating systems. Now, something we have to discuss about this. We should know about what type of hardware should be there with a server operating system. Whenever I will talk about a server computer, suppose we have 50 computers in our network and 51st computer is a server computer. The server computer should be more powerful in a hardware manner, because he have to manage 50 computers. 50 computers will not directly connect with each other. He will connect with the server and then will go to another computer. So server hardware must be of high duty. Server hardware should be more powerful because it has to perform the more processing. So server hardware's processor become very fast. There must be more amount of memory, the RAM, random access memory in a server, because he have to process the number of things, and the memory is the working area for computer system. Server as well as have more storage, and the redundancies should be there, because he have to save the large amount of data. He have to save more than 2000 users data, and there must be some sort of failover redundancy there. If in case of server's hard drive becomes dead, the other hard drive should be there for the safety of the data in server computer. And server operating systems are used to manage the server hardware. What is the difference between a client operating system and a server operating system? Server operating system knows how to manage the multiprocessing as a server should have to do, and a client operating system only scopes to the client end processing. Check and balances on the network activities is performed by a server operating system. Server operating system have capabilities of creating users, managing users. He have capability to manage the large amount of memory, a multiprocessing system, and a redundancy. As comparatively with the client's operating system does not have capability to perform more than a multiprocessing than a client, and he have no capability of such amount of memory that a server operating system have. So this is the basic difference of server and client operating system and hardware. It's better to have a server hardware for a server operating system. In case if you do not have a server hardware, you can install a server operating system with a little bit high-end machine, or with the high amount of memory and better processor, and with the high amount of hard disk drive to perform your lab or even in the working environments as well, because server hardware becomes very expensive. So this is all about today's session. Now inshallah in next session we will discuss the Ethernet and IEEE. Ethernet is a standard of communication on local area network. We will discuss Ethernet in detail in next lecture. Up till next lecture, thank you very much for viewing me. Allah Hafiz.